Hello everybody, hello and welcome to Heart of a Hobbit today. Sorry about that delay there. All right, well welcome to the stream. Hope you're all having a great day. I just realized I was like, maybe I should tell people I'm here. But I'm here. So hopefully you're here too. All right, so we are on the Treebeard server, as we have been a lot recently. So we are on, we're playing Lord of the Rings online, if you weren't already on board with us on that. And in Lord of the Rings Online, there's a whole lot of various things you can do. And so often we go and we'll travel alongside the Fellowship and do things that help them out in their quest and their journey. But there's a lot of other things you can do in Lord of the Rings Online. For example, there are festivals, and I love the festivals. And we just finished with the Yule festival. It just finished up very, very recently, earlier this week. Let's see, it finished on the 3rd, on January 3rd, and then January 5th, Moria opened up on the Treebeard server. So that's where we are, is the Treebeard server. Excuse me. And Treebeard is not historical, sorry, my brain just stopped working. A legendary server, thank you. And on this legendary server, things go differently than on your regular other live servers, as you may call them. So for example, what we do here on Treebeard is we go slower. We get 40% of our normal, of the normal amount of experience that you would get. So instead of 100%, you get 40% of the experience. So leveling goes much slower than on, say, a regular server. Now there's another legendary server called Shadowfax, and they go much faster. They are going at 150%. So they're like zoom, zooming along. Hang on a second. So we are, though, taking our time. Oh, also another thing that's interesting is that on Shadowfax, they release the next expansion through the world, that takes you through the world, a lot, much sooner than we do, say, here on Treebeard. So for example, let's see if I can get out to the map. Okay, so that's the Shire. Let's zoom out a little further. So I'm here in the Shire. And so for the last 6 months, we have been spending our time out here in Eriador. And that is kind of the early stuff that you run into in the Lord of the Rings books. So, the Hobbits are coming from the Shire, they go to Breeland, they meet up with Strider there, they travel together to Weathertop, they eventually make their way to Rivendell, the Fellowship is formed, and then from there they make their way, beyond. So one of the things they're doing is they're trying to get over this mountain range that you see over there on the far, right side. And let me zoom out one more. So there is this huge mountain range here of the Misty Mountains. And what they're trying to do, the Fellowship is trying to get, past this mountain range and get themselves, basically they're heading towards Mordor, is basically what they're up to doing. So if you're here and you need to get here, your options are kind of like that old children's book, you go around, do you go over, do you go through, do you go under? There is no through, there's no pass directly through, so under is basically kind of the through version. They tried to go over, and they ran into, all the snow and the stone giants throwing things and stuff like that. So Caradhras, they were unable to make it over the mountain, and they did not want to go around the mountain because that would put them very, very close to, where is he? To Saruman.
The Gap of Rohan.
Yeah, so Saruman is over here by the Gap of Rohan. And so they knew if they went around, they would be very, very close to Saruman. Oh, there he is. There's the Tower of Orthanc. So they don't want to end up going down there because, they're really close to Saruman, and that's bad because he's got a lot of stuff going on. So they want to sneak around, right? I mean, there's, 7 of them, and they don't want to be found. They're not an army. So yes, so as before posted in the chat there, the current progress on each of the worlds. So on the live servers, they're up to 140, and they just had Fate of Gundabad just released, and that took them into, some further out stuff. Let's see, Anor has just reached the Grey Mountains, and they're level 120. Shadowfax just got to Rise of Isengard, that expansion. So their level 75 is the cap on Shadowfax. And here on Treebeard, we just got into the Mines of Moria. So we are a level cap that just went from 50 up to 60. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, I wanted to double check if, I didn't, well, I should have done that, but I didn't. Okay, that's fine. Hi, I'm getting a trade offer. Ooh, new foods, all right. So because we went up in level, we have new foods that we could do. This is the Hobbit stare off there. Okay, so all right, tier 6 food has arrived. Yeah, it's pretty exciting because inside the game, there's a lot of various things you can do as well, and that includes crafting. So for the last 6 months, we have had access to apprentice, journeyman, expert, artisan, and master crafting. So tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But because of Moria coming now, we now have access to tier 6, which is supreme level stuff. So that's just, better outfits, better armor, better weapons, better foods. And the foods are really important because, for example, this is a cooked food. And let me tip that off. So that is my new cooked food and my old cooked food. What's the difference? I was eating superior lambas, and now I will be eating superior racks of lamb with mint sauce. So that sounds lovely. Removes one wound poison effect from maximum strength of 45. So from 45 to 55 of the wound or poison that it can remove. And then I've got 500 more power in combat power regen, another 200 in combat morale regen. That's good because I've been running into things that have been sapping my power lately. It's been really annoying. And then out of combat morale regen. Wow, it's over 1,000 better, and over 1,000 better on the power too. Neato. So give me a moment. So as you may have noticed, I pulled that off of my bar over there. Let me get this out of your way. So what I do is I have my stuff on the bar and then I just grab it. So I start off with cooked food at the top. I do them kind of alphabetically. And then I have fortifying food is next. That's my fortifying food, thank you. And then the trail food is the last one, and that goes there. And then I have the Bjorning's honey cakes on top. Because you can actually do Bjorning's honey cakes. It counts as a cooked food for the cooldown for how often you can eat it. But so once I eat a cooked food, I have to wait till that 30 seconds or whatever, and then I can eat another cooked food. So I'll eat the second one, which is pretty neat. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I'm in that. I'm warm, I'm cold, I'm warm, I'm cold. So he just went from really warm to really cold. That's all good. Okay, so we left Bingo Boffin out in Eregion. Yes, Moria has arrived, but I'm still waiting for a better heavy cast iron frying pan. That's awesome. Okay, so let's go find Bingo. We don't know where Bingo is. We know he's in Moria. But let's go check. I'll tell you what, we could go to Bree and then see if he'll tell us. Let's do that. We're going to try that. So if you're doing the Bingo Boffin questline, each week a new story, another piece of that story continues. So that's what they're doing on these servers. Now, if you're on a live server, you've already gone past all of that. This whole storyline is out. But for us, we're still following it week by week. So if we go to Bert Bartleby, which we know he's here in Bree, we can say, hey, where do I find Bingo this week?
Can I give you the gift of knowledge?
And he'll tell you the furthest that you are in the storyline, which is great because I know he's in Moria, but we haven't gotten to that point in Bingo's storyline. So he says, Bingo is still missing. You should look instead for Spalvi Dowerhand, who has gone to the elf ruins of Gwingris in northwestern Eregion. So we need to go to Gwingris. Thank you, Bert. You're very helpful. All right. Yes. The cool thing too about Bert Bartleby is he sells different things at different locations. So for example, if you meet with him here in Bree, you can get a housing item that's the sign of the prancing pony. You can get some maps to put on your wall of where Bingo has been when he was in the Shire. You could get Bingo's trusty tankard. I have that. You can, what else can you get? Oh, you can get some leggings and other stuff. You can get some armor from them, but it's generally not better than armor that you can craft. So I don't tend to get the armor from Bert, although I haven't really looked at it as a cosmetic. I should check it out at some point, I suppose. Okay, so we need to head to Regions. Shall I take us to Ikadunen? Yeah, we'll do that. So we went ahead and bought a bunch of milestones because we've just gone into Moria doing our stuff. Like we're following the quest, the epic quest line. And so we're running around Moria. So I had a milestone set to Gwingris, but I went ahead and overrode it for Moria stuff. But that's okay because I have hunter travel. Oh, I think I overrode it. Let me double check. I put heirloom on everything. Yeah, that's Ziggelgund, and that's Hobbit and Bywater. Yeah, I went ahead and overrode it. It's okay because I can take swift travel here from the stable master. So, because I'm a hunter, so I have hunter travel to a lot of various places, and that's what let's see, starting here, these lines here are all hunter travel places that I can take my fellowship for free, and it's instant. Like there's a little induction there, but I could do it again like right away. So if I'm like, oh, I went to the wrong place, I can just, take us to the right one. I've done that with Angmar before, because I have East Angmar and West Angmar, and sometimes I go east when I mean to go west, or vice versa. It's like the other Angmar. Oh, right. We'll do the other Angmar. Sure. Oh, I'm very excited because in this area there's some tier 6 wood and minerals that you can pick up. So I'm very excited that we can now start picking stuff up in the area. Fantastic. Okay, let's find Spalvi. Indeed. We know he's around here somewhere. He's not the only one. I was gonna say he's the one ring on my map, but what's this guy? Oh, it's the T quest. Okay, that's all right. We're gonna skip the T quest. The T quest isn't bad. Like there's a repeatable quest you can do, and it rewards you with T, which is very similar to the T I just got actually from Affadil here. So yeah, Affadil's T is better. Like this one is a 90 plus 90 vitality. The one you can get from our elf friend here is, let's take a look, 60 vitality. So the one I got from Affadil is like half again is better. So, but that's good if you don't, like, it's nice that you can get the tea from this guy if you don't have a cook in the family, as it were. Hang on, I'm gonna take a quick drink of my tea. So I've got my D & Co. Demieux mug again. I love this mug. At some point I need to get Fibro Jedi to make mugs. I think that'd be kind of cool. I would buy a Fibro Jedi mug. All right, D & Co. Demieux and Fibro Jedi are both websites, people who do a lot of stuff to help out the Lotro community. So like the D & Co. website, cool, it's in there in the links in the chat there, is a fantastic resource for housing items in Lotro. So if you're ever like, oh, I could get this housing item as a reward, but what do I want, do I want to buy this or whatever, like what does that look like? Well, you can go to the D & Co. website and they have everything, and they'll try and have it at like different angles and stuff, so you can kind of get a good sense of what that would look like, if you were to put it somewhere. So you get a better idea of the size of things, because there's been times when I've looked at something and I was like, what does that really look like? And you go into the website and you're like, wow, that is huge. I had no idea. Like there's a relic table. It's really big. I thought it would be teeny. But then there's been other things where I'm like, that looks like a really big tree. Wonder what that looks like. And it's like small. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe not. Maybe I don't want that tree. I want something, really big in my yard. And like, no, that'd be a teeny little thing. That's not what I'm looking for. So it's really awesome that you can go to the website and get a better sense of what things look like for real. And then Fibro Jedi does a lot of like festival guides, and he's also been working on a guide to some of the cosmetics, and yeah, he just has a lot of really good. Oh, he did this really cool guide, which I just actually shared with our kinship, about how to use the wardrobe and or how to use the cosmetics, like cosmetics on your character, and how to do that with and without a wardrobe. I use the wardrobe system. I love the wardrobe system. So you go to your I'm a VIP, so I have a subscriber down services. I should clarify there. But so anyway, or you could go to a, into a town, to a person and talk to them, and you open up your wardrobe and it looks like this. My wardrobe looks like this, right now I have it set to all for all stuff and all colors, and it is currently sorting by name. It can only sort by name alphabetically, and first to last or last to first. That's all it can do. But you see, this is like all the different cosmetics that I have collected and put into my wardrobe. Now what that means is all of my characters have access to this wardrobe, all my characters on this server. So I can put something in that's like maybe the starter piece from the Bjornings, because I have a Bjorning, and their starter outfit. Well, I was able to put that into my wardrobe, and now my Hobbit. So I go to my character panel. So that's what you're wearing with your equipment. Like that's my armor and stuff that I'm actually wearing. But when people look at me, they don't see that, right? They see this outfit that I put together. And so those shoulders are the shoulders that came from my Bjorning. Now I didn't even dye these. I've just left them the base color because I wanted it to look close to my horse. Although I do wonder if there's, oops, that's the wrong shoulders. That's not the well-used shoulders. It's the Grimbjorn shoulders that I'm wearing, sorry. They look very similar in the little icon there. Grim. I could just search, but they're there. So there's Grimbjorn's shoulders. So those are the shoulders that I'm wearing. And so if you press Control and click, it'll bring up this dressing room. Now I have a UI skin, which makes my dressing room bigger, which I like. I like being able to see things a little better than the dressing room that's in the game, but it still works. You hit Control, click, and it opens it up. So yes, as Celator Melon says there, you can dye the things that are in your wardrobe, and then they have all those different colors. So like these shoulders, have I dyed them yet? I have dyed them forest green, and I have dyed them red, and then they also exist in their default color, which is the color that they are right now that I'm wearing. But like say I've flipped it up in this dressing room, and I'm like, I wonder what they would look like if they were, let's say, navy. Whoa, look at that. That's a nice little bright blue. What do I have for my, so I like to match my outfit to my mount, or vice versa, match my mount to my outfit. So now I'm kind of curious if that navy blue would look better with my mount. Let me see. Let me move this out of the way. That might. See, the mount I'm riding is the Goat of Eredmithrin. Is that right? What am I wearing? What am I riding? I bought it for Figments of Splendor. Hang on just a moment. Oh, there it is. I'm riding the Goat of Eredmithrin. And it's got a lot of really great blues involved there, as you can see. So I'm like, okay, well, what can I do to match my outfit to that? So it's a lot of blues, a lot of silvers. So at some point I probably will pick out like a brighter blue to make my shoulders. So what I'll do is I'll take some dye, and I'll click on the dye, and then I'll apply it to the item in the wardrobe, and now that wardrobe item will add that color. So when I go to this drop-down menu of the selection color, I can choose, all the different colors that I've dyed it, which is so great because I love that, because my item then can have, a dozen different colors. I mean, there's no limit as far as I know, but it only takes up one spot in my wardrobe, which is fantastic. Celator Melon says you can destroy the outfits after slotting them in the wardrobe, but I think you can't dye them afterward. No, actually, you can destroy, once it's in your wardrobe, it is in your wardrobe. It's basically, you have made basically a copy that lives in your wardrobe. Now, if you remove it from the wardrobe, like there's this icon down here, it says remove item. So if I click on that and then I click on remove item, it kicks out of my wardrobe and it's gone out of my wardrobe. I do not have that anymore. And all the dyes I have put on something are also gone. Like that thing is just gone into the trash and it's all gone. But I don't need to keep the original anymore. So there's a whole lot of stuff in here, a lot of festival things that I basically don't have anymore. I went ahead and just tossed them. Yeah, I can still dye them in the wardrobe. Let me see. Let me pull. Yeah, don't. Yeah, once I mean, if you remove the item from your wardrobe, that copy that you put in the wardrobe is gone. So you wouldn't be able to dye it anymore. But let me see. Okay, so like for example, I have my dye carry-all in my shared storage. So let me pop that out. Oh, while I'm here, let me grab my crafting carry-all, just for convenience sake. Okay, so let's pull out. Let's pull out the navy dye. Okay, so I'm going to grab my navy dye out of the dye carry-all. Grimbjorn's shoulders, I guess it's not necessarily a good example because I still own them. Like they're still on the character. They're still on my Bjorning. But I can dye things in the wardrobe. Absolutely. So like regardless of whether you have destroyed the original or whether you still own the original, what's in your wardrobe is basically a copy. It is not connected in any way to that original anymore. It belongs in its own little realm. So I can then, so what I'll do is, so I'll just show this so everybody, in case there's other people who don't know how to do this. So you then right click on the dye, and notice my screen just went all wacky because it's showing me only the things that I can dye. Now I can dye stuff here in my stuff if I really wanted to, but I don't want to do that. I want to dye these shoulders. So I come over here and I click, I'm hovering over the shoulders. Now I'm gonna left click to select it. And it says, are you sure you want to add the navy dye to Grimbjorn's shoulders? If I've already dyed it navy, it's not gonna stop me. I don't think. So then I hit yes, and it dyes it for me. Now notice the drop down went away because I have to start over. Like I have to tell it, oh yeah, Grimbjorn shoulders. Now it has forest green, navy, and red. I don't know if you can see that. Let me scoot this over. So now it says, yeah, the default and forest green and navy and red because I just added navy to that. So Lungorthan Lord, hey, good morning. Good morning to you. It is evening here. I live in the Netherlands, and so it's like 7:30 at night here already. Hey, Avri, I meant to snag you earlier and let you know I was going to be on, but I told you yesterday, so I hoped you'd be here. And Avri says, when I learned the reclaim command, I was glad I could free up so many bank slots from collector's edition cosmetics. Yes, if you, also hello. If you do /reclaim, it will bring back to you things that you have thrown away that, I don't know how it decides what things it brings back to you, but like collector stuff that you got out of, like if you bought an expansion and it came with things, if you throw all of that away, I think you can use the reclaim button to get it back. So for example, I may have gotten rid of a bunch of things, but let's see. Like cosmetics bound to me. Yeah, I went ahead and tossed a lot of this stuff away, but like if I get rid of this weapon Ore of the Dead City and then later on do a reclaim, it would bring that back to me. Well, it would bring me back the box that it was in, I think, and then all the stuff. I'm not going to show you reclaim because I've thrown away a bunch of stuff and I don't want it back right now. So Benril over on Landy says, you've taken things out of the wardrobe to dye them and put them back. You didn't know you could dye them in the wardrobe. Yes, dyeing them in the wardrobe is the easiest way to do this. You can just, I mean, and I will do this sometimes where I will use the what was that thing I just was playing with? Oops. The dressing room. So that's Control left click to open up the dressing room, and whatever you're clicking on, it'll show that on your character in the dressing room. Oh, Lard, the way you do reclaim is what Avri was saying there. In your chat window, you do /reclaim, just like you would do like /say, /cry, /cheer. It's /reclaim, RECLAIM, just like you spelled it up above. Yeah, give it a try. I mean, make sure you've got some space in your bags before you do it. But okay. So I was going to show you. So yeah, if I hit Control and I click on a cosmetic, and it can be anything. Like I can do it on that thing that's in my wardrobe here. These shoulders, these gauntlets. Sorry, gauntlets. Okay. Now notice it didn't show because I have gauntlets hidden. I have gloves hidden on my character. Also notice if I tried to do like pants on a character. If I do groom's boots, you can't see them because I got a dress in the way. If I do these greaves, you can't see them because I got a dress in the way. So it's sometimes you'll be like, why can't I see these things? Well, it's because you've got all these other things in the way. it won't show you, you know. Oh, reclaim, you can only use once a week. Oh, nice. Awesome, awesome. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we'll come back to the wardrobe here in just a second. So there was a message there from Pinky saying Treebeard is a private server. It is not a private server. It is a legendary server. So it is run by SSG. SSG, Standing Stone Games, are the people who own and run Lord of the Rings Online. And they have multiple different servers, and they kind of have basically 3 categories of servers. So you've got your live servers, and between those two, you've got live servers that are US servers, and you've got live servers that are EU servers. Technically, they live all in the US together now, but they used to live separately. It used to be that the US servers were located in the US, the EU servers were located in the EU. There were 2 different companies. There was Turbine and Codemasters that programmed them separately. So once SSG became the owner, Turbine, they went to become the SSG, they brought the servers and they all live together in the US now. But the coding is different because of that history. So characters that are on one group can't move to the other group and vice versa. So if you have a character on a US server like Landreval, you can't move it to a EU server like Evernight. Unfortunately, those servers can't, they can't talk to each other. Now, the third group of servers are the legendary servers. You have to be subscribed, be a subscriber to play on those servers. So that could be like you bought a lifetime account way back when, you know, when Lotro was young. Or you can be a VIP, which means you have like either a monthly subscription or a quarterly subscription or a yearly subscription. Any of those kinds of things count. I have a yearly subscription because it's the cheapest per month, and I'm a very frugal person, but I also know that I'm enjoying the game. So I'm unlikely to stop playing anytime soon. So the yearly subscription absolutely works for me. I'm pretty happy about that. So the legendary servers, you have to be a subscriber, and there are currently 3 legendary servers. There's Anor, which has been around for a couple years now, and they just keep, so what happens on the legendary server is the progression, like the experience that you get, is slower or faster. And oh yeah, there's a link there that you can go to find out a little bit more about the legendary servers. But basically that's kind of the deal. Like it gives you a slightly different experience than whatever's going on the regular live servers. So Anor goes slower. They get about 60% of the experience that you normally get when you're out doing quests or defeating monsters, as opposed to 100% like you would normally get. So, and then instead of starting off with everything in the game that's been done available to you as they would be on the live servers, it's a slower progression. So you start off with just the original Shadows of Angmar area available to you, which is all of Eriador. So let me pull up that map again. So, sorry, not Eriador. Yeah, Eriador. That's what I did mean to say. So the area that the Fellowship was encountering in the very beginning. So, you know, the Shire, the elves and the dwarves over in Ered Luin, you know, that's where, like, you get some various dwarves. Maybe Gimli may have come from there. I know a lore person will come in and be able to tell me where Gimli's actually from. You've got Lake Avendam, which has some history. You've got the North Downs and Fornost, which also has some history with the people who live in this part of the world. And then you get all the way to Rivendell. So that's like the original beginning of Lotro was just this area before the Fellowship went into Moria. Then the first expansion that they opened up after that was to go into Moria. And then after that, the next thing that SSG did was Mirkwood, and then Isengard. And so it's slow progression taking you further and further to the east, just like they did in the Fellowship, right? So that's what these legendary servers do. They're also kind of, people call them progression servers because they progress at a different, you know, they progress through the storyline and through the expansions rather than just plopping it all on you at once. So Treebeard's been really great. Treebeard and Shadowfax are the other 2. So Anor was the one I mentioned previously, and then there's Shadowfax and Treebeard, which just opened up at the very end of June, like June 30th of this last year. So we've been around just over 6 months now on this server, and we go slowly because we're Treebeard. We go slow. Shadowfax, on the other hand, goes very, very fast, as you would expect. So we're getting 40% of experience here, whereas over on Shadowfax, they're getting 150% of experience. We're getting the next expansions every 6 months. They're getting the next expansion every 2 months. So they're already into Isengard, and we're just walking into Moria. So that's kind of the differences between the different servers, Pinky. So I really hope that explained adequately your question. Yes, you can absolutely play on Treebeard, and I know there's people that are like, well, is it too late for me to join? It's absolutely not too late to join. You could still come in. There's people who are joining every day still. Like I said, we just got into Moria like 2 or 3 days ago. So, hi, Agathar. Yes, Legendary isn't vanilla, as it were. Some people are like, well, I want to play, classic. I want to play like it was the day it came out. Which there's a number of reasons they can't do that. One of which is from a player quality of life perspective, there are things that did not exist back then. Like even in the time that I've been playing, and I've been playing for 3 years, there's this virtues system where it used to be that you had to do very specific quests, and then you would get the charity virtue, or then you would get the honesty virtue, and each one of those had a little bit of something that would give you, like the charity virtue might give you a little bit like some resistance rating, or maybe some physical mitigation, or maybe it gave you both of those, but that was about it. And if you didn't want that virtue, you weren't incentivized to go do that deed. Okay, fine. But maybe there's deeds you had to go do because you really wanted that virtue, and you're like, I really don't want to do that deed. So there's all those different things. So what they did is they changed the whole thing up, and now it's like experience bars. So you get virtue experience, and you pick which one of the virtues in this panel, which you have access to all of them, that you want to work on. At least you have access to all of them as a VIP. I don't remember for free to play if you have access to only some of these. But so like, for example, right now I'm earning on the loyalty virtue. And so every time I earn a little bit of virtue XP, that little blue line goes up a little bit more. And I'm currently at level 25 out of a possible 27 levels. Because basically your virtues are, go up to the level of your character halved. So we've only been able to go up to 25 until Moria just opened the other day. Also, a new cool thing about these is then you pick 5 or fewer if you're a lower level, because these slots at the top unlock as you grow up. But you pick the ones that you want to slot, and when you do that, you get the active benefit. So, for example, right now on Fidelity, I'm getting tactical mitigation, I'm getting vitality, physical mitigation. There's also a passive bonus. It says there plus 57 maximum morale. So these other bonuses, like charity, that I don't have slotted at the top, I'm not getting that resistance rating, the physical mitigation, or the vitality that are listed, but at the bottom, that passive bonus, that 57 maximum morale plus, I am getting that. So you're getting the passive bonus on all of these things. So for me, it's been a real incentive to go put points into every single one of them and get those passive bonuses, and then also do all the deeds and go out and get all that bonus virtue experience that's out there. So, so for example, that did not exist when the game first started. That is new in the last 3 years. I'm guessing the wardrobe system might not have been there. The dressing room system probably wasn't there. There's a lot of quality of life things that have changed. Oh my gosh, hunters used to have traveling rations. And so you couldn't travel unless you had traveling rations, and you then consumed those, and they were gone, they were consumable. There's a lot of various things like that that made the game more of a grind. And you know what, 14, 15 years ago, that may have been what the players were expecting, right? That was kind of your more typical player game experience. But nowadays, that would not sell well. Your average player would be not happy with a lot of the things that existed 14 years ago. I mean, if I know nostalgia is a very strong thing. But I can tell you, if you went and played a game of Pong on an old 1981 television right now, you would find that the experience is nowhere near as awesome as your memory of the experience. So these servers are not classic, 14 years ago as it existed servers. They are as it exists now in the world with what we have in the game now. And then when there are quality of life changes that happen through the game, we all get them, even the legendary servers. And I'm okay with that. The other reason why they can't do that, can't go to a classic server, is apparently there's stuff, they had already made changes like over the first 5 years or whatever. And there was an outage or some problem, a hurricane, a tornado, there was something, and it took out their servers for a couple days or something. Anyway, they lost a lot of data. So they don't have the data. They don't have the original programming as the game existed when it first started. Once in a while, one of the guys on the stream will talk about that, like Cord will bring it up or Sev will bring it up or something like that. Cordovan is the community manager for Lord of the Rings Online, and so he does a stream every week on Fridays at noon, and it's a great place to catch up on news and finding out what's going on in the game. And you can also ask him questions, which I like. Okay, so let's say, what else have we got here? Can you do custom layers on one piece? If I understand what you're saying, I think what the cosmetics come on you the way they do. You don't have the ability to affect them outside of color. You can't layer one on top of the other intentionally. They just automatically do that. So my shoulders automatically layer on top of my dress, but if I didn't want that, and they also layer below my backpack. If I didn't want that, I don't have the ability to affect that. If that was your question. And the UI glitch where the bad stays dimmed after you die the item is a little disconcerting at first, but you get used to it. Yeah, yeah, it's kind of crazy when you go to dye something and everything goes gray. You're like, wait, stop. But no, it's trying to highlight to you what you can dye. And cool. And then, so before I've then posted the current progress in each world. So on Anor, they recently went up to Grey Mountains, which takes them up to level 120. Shadowfax just went to Rise of Isengard the same day we went to Moria. So they're level 75, we're level 60 as our cap. And then everybody else, all the other servers are 140. So really interesting. There are still, as Agathor said, there are very different, there are still very much differences between the original experience and what we're getting now. We're getting the game as it exists now with, the graphics and the storyline, anything they've adapted, they've changed. There's a whole bunch of mounts, there's a whole bunch of pets, there's a whole bunch of cosmetics that were not available 14 years ago. We have those now because those are available to us. We have the game as it exists now, just you only have, your playground is smaller as it is, which is great. I mean, this is the experience that I want. And as Avri says, come put your roots down in Treebeard. Absolutely, right? It's still a good time to come in. We've still got lots of people who are low levels. In fact, if you go to the social panel, which is O on your keyboard, you can see these are people who are not anonymous, because you can set yourself anonymous so people can't see you in this, and they can't look at you, they can't look at your outfits and stuff like that. That's my thing. I'm I want to look at your outfit. So I'll just message somebody if they have a cool outfit and I want to know more about it. Anyway, so you can see there are a whole bunch of people that are in the teens. This right here, the Delving Fields. No, that's out of the instance. Oh right, you can't see people in the instance, in the intro. People in their 30s, people in their 40s. And that's just the people who are online. A lot of us, and then there's a lot of people in their 50s, because that was the highest you could get to up until a few days ago. And then now you start to get to people who are leveling again and moving through Moria. Now, some of us get an item. We don't. I'll come back to that in a second. So the question is, do you get the gold spammers? We do not. It's so funny because I have characters on like 6 other servers. Like I have characters all over the place. And yeah, every so often I'll pop into, Evernight, and I'm like, oh, I'll come do a couple things in Evernight. And I'm like, and I usually have a tendency to hang out in World Chat because World Chat on the Legendary servers, it's a slightly smaller population than some of the live servers. I mean, we've been around a lot shorter period of time. And so that really also makes a big difference, right? If you've been around for 10 years, there's a lot more people who show up and hang out versus if you've just, been around for 6 months. So, I'll check into World Chat, and because I'm used to doing that here, and then I'm like, gold spammer, a little bit of chat, gold spammer, a little bit of chat, gold spammer. I'm like, whoa, can't stand this. I'm going back to my Legendary server. So I am so glad. We have not yet had the gold spammers hit us. I think it's because you can't make a free account, right? There's a cost, there's an investment that you have to make in order to be able to play on the Legendary server. And I think they don't want to do that. And also, my hope is then that also people who have current accounts that are paying and whatnot are being careful about their passwords and not letting their accounts get stolen. Because that's the other thing is people, if your account gets stolen, that's one way that those gold spammers get it. So here we are. So Mubat, the freebie for the week. So every week we get a freebie. You put in a little code. Yes, best missing feature ever. Oh my gosh, having no gold spammers is amazing. Yeah, I'm really glad for it. So this week, starting today, you can get a free battle potion of restoration. The code is BattleRest. And the new sales start. So Thursday is always fun because during my stream is usually when like the new sales get announced. So you have access sometimes to the old sales and the new sales and the old code and the new code to get free stuff. So that's fun. So housing writs are back up. They're 30% off. They were 50% off during the Yule sales. So if you missed out on that though, you can get some for 30% off. And okay, so the special geode house that will be in Erebor is 28 writs currently in the Bull Roarer testing server. So if you're planning ahead. So that's a whole nother subject. Okay, so I was gonna get us started on Spalvey, but real quick, before we start on Spalvey, let's talk housing. So Lotro has housing. Hello, Sibicel, welcome. So Lotro has housing. You can, in the game, buy a house. And for example, these are my houses. So I have 6 Myrtle Court is in the Shire Homesteads, and there are 4 racial-based homesteads, and you can buy a house for in-game coins. When you go out and you defeat a monster and it gives you like 2 silver or whatever, save that up and you can buy a house. So you can buy it in the Shire Homestead, you can buy in the Breenland Homesteads, you can buy Falathorn Homesteads, that's the elves, and you can buy in Thorin's Gate Homesteads, I think it's called, and that's the Dwarven one. So you have dwarves and hobbits and men and elves. So you could buy a house in any one of those locations. And as you say, as Milan says there, gold spammers are frowned upon in our community, in the Lotro community. We don't tolerate them. And SSG does deal with them quickly, but yeah, every now and then they do sneak into chat, and it's yucky, man. They are definitely impacting the player experience, which is really a shame because it's a pretty awesome game. So I do hope that they're able to tighten that noose around the gold spammers and get them to stop. So anyway, okay, so these are the houses I have. So that's my house there. I'm also part of a kinship, and so there's a kinship house that I have access to for our kin. And then I have also purchased a premium home, and that is in the Rohan Eastfold homesteads. So there are currently 3 different premium housing areas in which you can buy. There's the first premium housing area, which is the Cape of Belfalas, and those have it's in Gondor, and so it's kind of race of man kind of feel. It's very marble though. It's very stately. These high columns, and it almost has that kind of austere, almost clinical, like, cold feeling to it because of all the marble and everything. My Rohan home is not, I mean, I've got stuff in my Rohan. They've said in the chat, I want to see your Rohan home. I will be showing homes. Okay, so we'll come back to that real quick. Hang on. Give me just a second. So there's the Cape of Belfalas, and you can buy a premium house there. And there's two different kinds. There's three. There's four. There's the small houses you can buy, and then there's the large houses you can buy. And then there's two different kinds of kin houses. There's the kin houses on the land, and then there's the kin houses on the islands. Those are pretty cool. Then they opened up, a little over a year ago, the Rohan Housing. And they did 2 neighborhoods. It was very ambitious, but they did a fantastic job. And so, Swilad Melon, hi Ador, good to see you. So we're talking housing. So the Rohan Housing, 2 neighborhoods. One is on the plains, and it is very Rohirric. You can see for miles, and you've got these great, dark wooden structures, and you've got those come with barns, and yeah, it's very, very cool. So then you've got the Rohan Housing. The other neighborhood is in the mountains, and so very treed, lots of elevation, and also amazing views. You just have to get through the trees, but then you just oh my gosh, you can see Metalstead from there. It's amazing, right? So those are beautiful. They're coming out with a 4th, then, by my way of counting, premium housing, and that is going to be in Erebor, and it is dwarven housing themed, and it is underground, and so it's all cut out, but it's very gems kind of feeling, like you're in a gem mine almost, and so it has a lot of green glowing pieces of the walls. I mean, it kind of feels Wizard of Oz style. Now we haven't seen it so far exactly, but there's been previews of it. The Scenario, who's one of the Lotro developers, is the one whose housing is under his purview. So he gave us a preview of that when he rode around and showed it to everybody. And then right now the testing server Bull Roar is open, and anybody can go and check it out, and you can go and look at those houses. So those will be coming out, I am guessing, in February. So for that, you'll need to buy it with either Mithril coins or with housing writs. So housing writs being on sale is very useful because if you want to go buy one of these new houses in Erebor or any of the other legendary or premium housing areas, housing writs being on sale is the cheapest way to get in on that. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so back to that thought of housing. This Sunday, I am going to do a 3-hour stream on just talking about Lotro housing. That's all we're going to do. We're going to go visit a bunch of different houses. So Avery, if you have a chance, you'll want to tune in on this. We're going to start at 1 o'clock is the current plan. 1 o'clock 1 o'clock server time. So 7 o'clock my time. And we're going to spend 3 hours. I'm going to tour some of the regular houses. So we'll do those 4 racial-based houses. So you kind of get an idea of what did they start with. And then we'll go check out the Cape of Belfalas, and we'll look at a house or 2 over there. And then we'll check out the Rohan housing. The Erebor housing Bull Roar will be closed by Sunday. But either I'll get some screenshots or we'll just talk about, we'll pull up maybe some of the screenshots that that Scenario has shared. So that's going to be in a couple days. On Sunday, we're going to do that. So we'll just talk. We'll go nuts on housing on Sunday. It'll be a good time. Okay, I think you all have kept me talking about cosmetics and housing and servers for an hour already, roughly. So let us go ahead and do a quest. Because you know what? This is a video game and there's quests. Maybe we should do one of those. So we're going to do this Bingo Boffin questline that we're in the middle of. Bingo Boffin is a character that they invented, but Bingo was the original name of Frodo. So it is not outside of canon in that regard. It's kind of cool. Now, the Bingo Boffin questline here in Lotro, it follows more along the lines, even though it's named for Frodo's original character, it more follows the line of Bilbo. So we've been through, we've been through Bree. We had a bit to drink at the Prancing Pony, and now we are wandering off. We ended up in the Misty Mountains, or no, sorry. Yeah, yeah. And anyway, so he fell down a hole just like, kind of like Bilbo did, into the Goblin Town area. So we're still trying to track him down. We know he fell into a river underground. We heard a splash, that kind of thing. And now we're trying to figure out where he is, but we're pretty sure he's gone into Moria, that river went into Moria. So we're trying to find our way there. So Spalby, this is a little side quest. So Spalby is this dwarf that we have encountered. And he's kind of taken himself on as being a traveling companion for Bingo. And he feels really bad because there was some drama. You just got to go do that thing. Go do the quest line. There was some drama. Spalby was involved, and he feels bad that Bingo Bingo fell down the hole. But the Dowerhand dwarves, they're a faction of dwarves that are more aligned with Sauron, and so they're kind of one of our evil groups here in Lotro. And Spalby was a part of what is a Dowerhand, or was. So, oh hey, welcome back, Uptown Coyote, who says, return to Lotro after a 6-month break. It's such a wonderful game, even though I just stood in Rivendell trying to figure out the new LI system. Yeah, the new legendary item system is different. It's very different. We just did that yesterday, in fact. Yep, we did. I did go and watch a video that where Druid's Fire had helped Corey, the Tolkien professor who streams on Friday. They both stream on Friday, and go through all of this. And so I made some notes, like, yeah, I have a bunch of notes there. I'm not sure if that's useful. We might try to do like a little half-hour video or something like that, trying to explain the new thing, because we kind of have a handle on it at the moment. But yeah, it's yeah. So basically, I like the fact that we're starting small and then kind of, yeah. So Miss Hedgie, hello, welcome. And so you want to play, but you're a simmer, like you play The Sims, and you're intimidated by Lotro. I would say that I agree. Lotro is a huge world, and it's had 14, almost 15 years of building on itself, right? So there is a lot of shortcuts, a lot of shorthand. For example, the person who said the new LI system, that means legendary item. Like you get a legendary item, like like Sting. But you wouldn't know that if somebody just drops the word LI, right? So I would say you should absolutely come and start playing. It's a fantastic game, and I think you would love it. I think everybody would love it. So there we are. I would definitely say try to find a group, like a kin or something that can help you with learning. There are so many people who are willing to help first timers and people who've returned to learn all the ins and outs of how to play the game, and not let something you don't know about the game be a barrier. Like, you want to get in, you want to run around as a hobbit in the Shire, right? You want to be an elf and dancing off of mountaintops. Like, you want to get into the game and do some fun stuff. So yeah, I think there's enough of us that are in that same kind of place that we are all happy to help new folks learn how to get in here and have that fun time. Now, there's definitely some people that are, everybody has a different focus. Like, I really love the festivals. I love the more lighthearted quest lines. I like following the epic storyline as it follows through the fellowship. Those are things that I enjoy. There are some people that want to get to cap, and they want to do the raids and the instances and those things that are up at the top, and they want to be the best at that, and they want to, they've got some real challenges with that they want to conquer. Those folks aren't necessarily the ones who are focused on helping a new person learn how to play Lotro. So you just have to find the right people to help you out. I think you just got to find some folks. I love Treebeard because it's a smaller community and we all look after each other. So that would be a place to try. So you just forwarded that link to a friend yesterday. She said it was very helpful for the LI guidance. Awesome. You were also a simmer years ago, and this is your first MMO. It was easy to understand, and there are people that are willing to help. Right on, right on. Yeah, the landscapes. Uptime Coyote says landscapes are my favorite part of Lotro. Oh my gosh, it's like walking around in a painting. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. What's your favorite epic book story? Oh, I don't know. You know, you're gonna laugh, but every character I do the pies, delivering pies in the Shire, and I do the delivering mail in the Shire, and I kind of look forward to that. I know that's not epic book. Okay, I'll think about that while we do some stuff. Okay, so Spalvey says that he feels that he is no longer a dour hand. But he wants to be something. So he needs a new surname to replace the one that no longer fits because he was Spalvey Dowerhand. Now he wants to be Spalvey something else. I could not take an existing name, for that would not be right. Perhaps I could adopt a descriptive name. A suitable epithet would do me some good, and then we could resume our search for the missing Hobbit. So perhaps you can speak with some of the folks around Gwingris to get ideas for me. I do not like elves, but there's no denying that they have a power over words, and one of them might come up with a suitable name or title for me. So he wants us to go around and ask some people for some ideas. So we'll go talk to Theodore Gorse back here. He is an adventure, he's a treasure seeker.
Let's see.
And the voice actor for this does a great job. He's like, oh, I don't think I could even do it. It's just so funny. Yeah, walking around in a painting is a great way to put it. It really does. It really feels like that. So let's see. One person says their favorite is any epic without Sarah Oakhart. Aw. Somebody else says theirs was the Angmar story with Amarthya. That was kind of what I was going to say, even though it has a lot of, go talk to Elrond, go back to Angmar, go over here in Angmar, go back to the Trollshaws, go back to Rivendell. Like, it has a lot of crazy traveling, go back over to Thorin's Hall. What? Whatever. But the storyline is good, right? And the first time I went through the storyline, I was so distracted by all the travel that I wasn't engaged with the storyline. But by the time I was doing it the second and the third and such, every time I do it since then, it really, I feel it. Like I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, the storyline is good. Get you in the heart, man. So Spalvey wants a new surname, says Theodore. Well, I could be glad to help you come up with ideas. Let's see, he's a dwarf and he, Theodore bites his lip deep in thought. This is more difficult than I expected. Your friend Bingo was writing a book, was he not? I bet he would be good at coming up with ideas. It's a pity you haven't found him yet. I will keep thinking, but I have only had one idea, and I'm afraid that Spalvey dwarf-like is probably not what he had in mind. Yeah, that's not really a catchy thing. Theodore wanted to help, but his creativity is not up to the task. All right, so let's go talk to some other folks. I'll bet Appadilla knows where to find somebody else. Hey, there's an elf. Let's go talk to this elf. Hey, all right. So the dwarf wants a surname? How should I know what title would serve him? None of the ones I suggest would be considered polite. And I do not wish to insult him while he is a visitor here. Oh, snap. It says Daganon was not helpful. That's true. Your favorite was Gondor's Rightful King with Aragorn versus Spoiler Guy Baddie. There's some really cool stuff that they do in the game with like the history of Aragorn's family. Yeah, it's really interesting watching all of that come to life in various ways. That's true. We haven't actually done all the epic. Like, we haven't gone to the Black Book of Mordor. We haven't finished even before that. We're on the highest characters that we have played. Those are over on Evernight. And we got into Gondor, Old Anorian. We got into Old Anorian. That's as far as I've gotten so far. Oh, anyway, so let's see what this person says. I'm no expert on dwarf lore, but I do know that dwarves sometimes take descriptive titles rather than surnames of their families. What does Spalvey most enjoy doing? Is he a fighter, or a scholar, or a loyal friend? If you can think of a title that best describes him, you will find an appropriate surname. You think for a moment and decide that Bingo Dropper or Hobbit Misplacer is not the most complimentary of titles. Spalvey bingo dropper. All right, so we come back and we tell him, he says, I don't know, none of these suggestions seems to fit me very well. He says, oh, I have an idea. What if you bring battle to the various foes that can be found throughout a region? Perhaps the act of battle will inspire you, and you will come up with a fitting surname for me. So get fighting and get thinking, my friend. So we have to go and defeat different foes in a region and come up with ideas for a new title for him. Okay, I'm ready to follow you. Are you going to watch the amazing Lotro show? Amazon. We don't know if it'll be amazing. The Amazon Lotro show. I don't know. First of all, we don't have Amazon currently. Like we're not subscribed. So, oh, there's some wood there. Yeah. So B4 says, I'm trying not to get my hopes up. The last time Amazon claimed they were going to bring a Lotro Lord of the Rings related property to market, it fell apart. Indeed. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm kind of on that fence in the sense of I'll when it comes out, like if it for real comes out, then we'll definitely probably try and take a look. I'm very curious what they're going to do, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's so easy to do Lord of the Rings badly. And I have to say, I am super spoiled with Lotro because the developers, like, they really take a lot of time to look at the source material and really try to come up with things that fit in world. Spalvey tree feller, you ask yourself. Like, for example, in the Shire, you are fighting wolves and Spalvey bogwalker, you ask yourself. And brigands have come in from the south. So, and you're like, what? These aren't in the Shire. But they are. Because if you think about it, Spalvey Glimmer Knight, you ask yourself. If you think about it, after the Fellowship, after the Hobbits left the Shire, and then they traveled along, and then they, got to the end, right? And then they come back home. There's stuff happening in the Shire, right? The Shire wasn't left alone while they were gone. The things that encroached on the Shire while they were gone were already starting before they left. It was just not obvious, right? It's not spelled out necessarily in like the early parts of Lord of the Rings, but you can kind of see some of that. So I think it's brilliant the way that the developers were like, these are things that are indicators of trouble in the Shire. Like, the time when the Brandywine froze over and the wolves came over. That's like a known thing. So yeah, the scouring of the Shire, right? That didn't come from nowhere. What am I looking for? Oh, Spalvey Doomlander, you ask yourself. Yeah, that doesn't quite fit him, does it? None of these titles are very descriptive of the Spalvey that we know. The Spalvey that we know and love. And Aubrey, I still don't trust Spalvey. Suspicious eyes. I think I think his heart is in the right place. Spalvey Wormfoe, you ask yourself. So anyway, so I really, the things that the developers have done, Spalvey Darkwing, you ask yourself, have done in Lotro, and the attention that they pay to, things like, so for example, in Fornost was, a place of men. It was part of like the old kingdom of Arnor, if I recall, if I'm getting the words right. And it was taken over by Sauron and his forces. And it was tried to be repelled, and like the last king of Arnor was, I'm gonna go fight this guy off, and then he went off to go fight him and he disappeared, never to return, kind of thing. So you kind of go, well, gosh, I wonder whatever happened to him. Like Lotro plays with that, right? They look at that and they're like, well, what did happen to him? Let's investigate that. Spalvey Orc, what was it? Orc Slayer? Orc Smasher. Smash Orc, you ask yourself. Yeah, so there's a lot a lot of really cool, very careful attention to detail that the developers have done over time. Now, sometimes you kind of have to stretch a little bit to go, okay, how did they get to this idea? But then you see where they came from and how they put that together, and you're like, okay, I can get with that. I can see where they came with this, right? And then when you then go back and you're reading the books and you're like, oh, hey, there's a worm and a region that's mentioned. Oh, okay, that explains why we got worms and region. Sure. You know, that sort of thing. So I'm very spoiled by, you know, the attention that's been paid to Lotro, in Lotro to the Lord of the Rings. And I don't know that the people who are running the Amazon show will have done that same amount of due diligence and detailed reading, for example. So that's why I'm a little, you know, When the game was published, it had more text than the Lord of the Ring books. I didn't realize that. I wonder how far is the count right now? Oh my gosh. It's going to be huge because, I mean, they keep adding more stuff too. Like we just got, like they've just done this whole arc about Erebor and the dwarves retaking Gundabad and all the orcs and things that have been living in Gundabad, and how now the dwarves are trying to take that back. And so there's huge pieces of storyline that have been created for that definitely have textual groundwork, but like that dialogue and all of that, like would not have, like you're looking in like maybe Tolkien's letters, and you're looking in the Silmarillion, and you know what I mean, things like that. Yeah, English is not your main language, but you can tell the writing is excellent. Like I said, I think they really do try to take a lot of the original feeling and writing of things into account when they're creating their stuff. You know what I mean? Okay, so we are on this quest called A Change of Name. We're going to finish this now. It says, as you begin to list some of the possible titles for Spalvey, he holds up a hand and stops you. I'm sorry about this, Rosenblum, but I was speaking with Haley while you were away, telling her about some of our adventure, and she said I sounded very stout of heart. So I have decided I will be Spalvey Stoutheart from now on. It suits me much better than Dourhand, wouldn't you say? Thank you for all the help, my friend, and now that I have a fitting title, I am ready to resume our search for our missing Hobbit. All right, so I get to choose between two titles. I can choose Name Giver or Name Taker. I'm going to choose Name Giver, because Name Taker reminds me of Avatar with that character that was like the face taker, and that just kind of like, I don't want that. Avatar, The Last Airbender. Okay. Voice acting, not so much. So I love some of the voice acting. I like the Spalvey, and I like Theodore Gau, the Grouse there. I mean, oh my gosh, these guys crack me up. If you had one thing that you could change or add in Lotro, what would you want to do? I have answers to that because I have opinions on many, many things. And then you ask me now, and I can't, off the top of my head, I'm like, I will come up with something. More Hobbits. Hobbit housing, Hobbit premium housing. I'm certain they're going to do it someday, right? Like I would put money that they will do it someday. So I'm looking forward to that. But like something that I don't think they would do, or something that I could like just like whoop and make it happen. I don't know. They've started doing some things called Further Adventures, where they kind of take you into a storyline. Like they did a Further Adventures with Bilbo Baggins, and it's like when he's still at Rivendell after the Fellowship has left, and he's chilling out, and then he kind of like, one of the elves goes to have a chat with him, and he can't find him. And so it turns into this whole, is Bilbo lost? Is he okay? Like, where is he kind of thing. And it's like a little mini, 10 episode arc. It's really cute. And so I'd like to see more of those. And I know someone mentioned Sarah Oakhart before, so I'm going to try and avoid spoiler territory, but there's a history that belongs to Sarah Oakhart before her transformation, let's say. And I think it'd be really interesting to see things from Sarah Oakhart's perspective of the history that took her and the people around her from A to B to C to D, you know what I mean? And got to that point. So I think delving into like further adventures of these side characters would be really interesting. And like Bill the Pony, I would love a further adventures of Bill the Pony. Speaking of ponies, here's one thing I would add or change in Lotro. They had okay, so in the game, you can go and play as a chicken at one point. There's a farm in the Shire. You can go, and the chickens are like, you know, like, rah, something's going on. And the farmer's like, I don't know what's going on. The chickens are all upset. And so you go and you become a chicken, and you go and help try to figure out, you know, and basically it's like things are happening, bad stuff's happening, and how do you help them? So that's really the TLDR there. So back with like, when I think Riders of Rohan expansion came out, they had a little session of that where you could play as a horse. And I would love to see that or something very much like that come back, because I would love to be able to get to do that quest chain. Now, apparently it's not that big. Like I would love to see more of the chicken quests too, actually, because it's really cool. It takes you into areas of the game that you don't normally see when you're on horseback or swift riding or whatever. So I think that'd be cool. If they give you more Sarah Oakart, you're out. What if it surprised you though? Maybe I should just write it. I'll just write it sometime. Update character models and their animations, says Druid's Fire. Nice. Map zoom, oh my gosh, like the detailed maps that you get in the corner are so good, and I wish there was a way to kind of zoom in and out a little bit more using that information. They call more than 5 on the side, because right now you can only track 5 quests on the side of your screen there. Being able to track more than 5 would be pretty cool. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I have a ton of these ideas, but then, you know, you ask me and I'm like, brain stops. Before it says I'd go with smooth out the little inconsistencies that have cropped up over the years. Like sometimes you can right click on the map and zoom out, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes it closes the map, stuff like that. I did, yeah. The update character models and their animations. Yep. I did see that. By the way, hi, Druid's Fire. You're not a fan of the LI system at all. You'd like an alternate weapon choices for people like me. That is an interesting idea, though, is if you want to opt out of LIs, or maybe have like a streamlined LI system where it's like, basically, here's your weapon. And then like, maybe after, I don't know, 20 levels, push this button and it gets better. Nothing, no slotting stuff in, no customizing, nothing. It's just, here's your weapon. It goes with you. Or maybe that's it. Like every time you level, it adds like 3 morale or something. Like that would be interesting. The further adventures of Marigold Boffin. Oh, Aubrey, I'd totally be dealing with that. Marigold is so good. She's everywhere too, man. She's a you know, cool little hobbit there. You've only been in Moria a little bit on Treebeard, but it looks like there are still weapon drops and quest rewards to choose from in response to the legendary talk. And not for higher levels. I really can't speak to the higher level weapon drops and legendary, you know, thingy bobblers. I can't speak to that at the higher level at this point. Oh, nice. Somebody says they use a plugin called Terrain Map. Ooh, would you put plugins in there? And it's like Google Earth, but for Lotro. That's fantastic. It would be nice if some more plugins would make it to the game, like Inventory Sort or Huge Bag some years ago. Now, so here's an interesting thing, is the Lua, which is what allows you to see behind the scenes, like it gets you into the data of the game. That was an old project of somebody who worked at Standing Stone or maybe Turbine, I'm not sure. But it's a project that belonged to somebody who was there, who's not no longer there. And so they don't have anybody who has taken that on updating like what you can see. So that's why, like, for example, you can't see into our boxes, our carry-alls. Like if you do something like, because I use the plugin Alt Inventory, hang on, we'll get back to you in a minute, Spalby. So I like alt inventory, and I can see like what is in my inventory, and it includes my bags, all my characters on the server's bags, as long as I've looked in them, and everybody's vaults and my shared storage. So it can look at all of that and be like, oh yeah, you have it here, you have it there, etc. So I really find using this really useful. But it can't look inside carry-all bags, for example. Why? Because that was not something that was part of the Lua when it came out, years ago, whereas it is part of the game now. So that's so updating the Lua would be really awesome. But I understand that you've got to be careful. Like, you got to be so careful what you allow people to see, because somebody might find a way to use that to get in and become a gold spammer, for example, right? So I understand that it's not just like a super simple thing to do. So, you think the LI system could be replaced by a skill tree? Easy to use and not so grindy. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's a really interesting balance, because you've got people like you and possibly me where, I'm not looking for something super complicated, but at the same time, I do like being able to customize my stuff. So I do want something that's complicated enough that allows me to customize and make adjustments that fit my play style. And then you've got people who are like doing these raids, and they want to know things down to like the digit, and they're very, very particular, and well, you should do it this time and this way, and not this time that way and that way, and so you need to have a system that's complicated enough that they feel like they can sink their teeth into it, and they want that grindiness. So I don't know, right? Like, how do you satisfy all these different kinds of players? So I get it. I get it. It's not an easy it's not an easy task, and I am grateful not to be a game developer. Okay, so we do have some plugins there, by the way, that some of us on the stream team recommend. Some people like Buff Bars, Deed Tracker, love Deed Tracker, Kiki Inventory. I use Alt Inventory, but they're both very good. Minstrel Buff, Titan Bar. I use Titan Bar all the time. That's what this thingy up here at the top is, tracking a whole bunch of stuff for me, and it's very it has a lot of things you can and choose from, and so I choose the things that I like. I really like that about Titan Bar. Travel Window, I don't know if I could live without. I use the Travel Window all the time, even on my non-hunter characters. I love my Travel Window. Sequence bars, combat analysis, daily tasks. Some of us really love that. I moved away from that, but it was very helpful when I was using it, when I needed it. More map, which is not just the Moors anymore, so don't let the name fool you. Prime plugin has an inventory sorting system, maybe says B4. So you want a scroll carry-all? You been playing with it? Ah, nice. Prime bag. He's over there playing with it over on his screen. Nice. You want a scroll carry-all for all the scrolls for crafting, and a rep carry-all. They had, they don't have a rep carry-all. There was a task carry-all though that exists. So they have more carry-alls that are out in the world than are currently available in the store. So we check the store like every week. Right now, the only carry-alls that are available in the store are the crafting carry-all, which holds crafting stuff, so like wood and hides and all of that business. And they also have a traceries carry-all. We'll do carry. So the crafting carry-all, you could get a small, medium, or large. Go for large, duh. I say that, but it really does make sense. Like, the small only holds 10 different piles, different stacks, whereas the large can hold 50 different stacks. So you go for the large, because the large is less than double the cost of the small, and it holds like 5 times the amount of the small. Plus the stacks are bigger. In a large, you can get stacks up to 5,000. I think in the small crafting carry-all, the stacks are like 2,000 max, something like that. I love the carry-alls. And then, yeah, there's a large essence and tracery carry-all, so you can put those things in there, and that holds up to 50 stacks. But those are the only ones that are available in the store right now. Task carry-alls, I know they exist because I have some on other servers. And I have a housing carry-all, which is great because like somebody was like, here, have all the elvish furniture. And I was like, that's very sweet. But that's like, 20 things. Well, they gave me like 4 chairs. So in the housing carry-all, the 4-chair stack in one. I'm like, oh, that's so much better. And like all those like festival things you get, like this last one we were just doing the Yule festival, and I got the broken snowman on all of my characters. That's like 11, 12 broken snowmen I have now. Like if I could stack them in a housing carryall, that would just be one stack. That'd be so cool. So that exists. But there's a task item carryall, which is also, I can't wait till that comes back. But I got a die carryall, really excited about that. I love my die carryall. Because I just go crazy with the dies. I dye everything. Almost every, if it's in my wardrobe, I probably have dyed it or I'm going to. So, yeah, so useful. Yeah, stackable chairs, right? Who would have thought? You can even stack beds. You can stack anything. Stack snowmen. Okay, so we're gonna move ahead in time. It's the next week, and we have our next Bingo Boffin quest to go on to. It's called Into the Long Dark. He says, I had hoped we might not have to follow the Longbeards into Moria, but I may not be a dour hand any longer, but the old resentments are not so easily swept away. Well, if they do not greet me with steel, I will repay them with kindness, and not in kind. During our time here, I have learned that the Iron Garrison traveled southeast to the ruins of Akad-Dunin outside of the Holland Gate. You should speak to the dwarves there and see if they have gained access to Khazad-dûm. If they have already done so, or once they do, I'll meet up with you inside the entrance to the Great Dwarf Kingdom. So this is kind of why we had paused here, because we could have done the last one where he gets his new name, but we couldn't go any further because we have to get into Moria, and now we can. So we need to complete Volume 2, Book 1, The Walls of Moria, by speaking to Raithwald near Akad-Dunin and completing his quest chain, which I think we did. So we're going to accept that. And now we are into the long dark. So shall I take us to Akad-Dunin with my hunter abilities? Excellent. We shall go now. Oh my gosh, I love hunter stuff. So like I said, we're playing on Treebeard, and Treebeard goes slower. Like there's less experience, and we are doing we're checking every nook and cranny, doing every quest. Like you can see, we've got some quest rings up right now because we're still working on some of these areas. But we're trying to do basically every quest in every area. Leave no quest unturned. And so our max cap on this server is 60. And so we've been debating, do we go ahead and allow ourselves to keep getting experience until we get to 60? Or do we pause and go ahead and use the Stone of the Tortoise, which is a pocket item, and it halts all experience gain. So it doesn't matter what you do, you don't gain any experience, you just stay right where you are. So, speaking of game upgrades, more fast travels in Moria, that's true. I tell you what, we bought, milestones were on sale recently during the Yule really awesome sales. We bought every single milestone. So there's like 10 of them, I think 11 if you count the one you get originally. So just so we can plot milestones and use the milestones in Moria. Crazy cakes. Let me talk to Rathwald real quick. So he says, you have already lent great service to our expedition, and I do not wish to be held responsible if you come to a bad sort of end. Oh, that's a different one. That's a Moria thing. My bad. Wait, are you sure that's not the bingo one? We have to talk to Spalvi. Oh, we already did that. We have to talk to Spalvi in Durin's Threshold in the Great Delving of Moria. Hey, let's go inside and talk to Spalvi. Okay, my bad. There's a thing I haven't done yet where it is to watch and go through and experience the fall of Moria. So we will do that at some point. But not today, not right now. So what was I talking about? Bingo, cosmetics. I forgot what I was talking about. Can scroll up through the travel. Swift travel on Moria. Milestones. Talking about sales. Experience. Oh, experience. Experience halting. We were trying to figure out if we wanted to halt our experience. That's what I was going towards. Yeah, I will ride to Anazar Meckham on Treebeard only once, and then we'll take the milestone. And we already have the 5-minute cooldown for our milestones, so yeah, all we have to do is hang out for 5 minutes if we need to get back somewhere really fast. So yeah, the long travel through is hard. But anyway, so hunters can get a travel, like a fellowship travel to the 21st hall, but you have to be level 56 and you have to have a certain amount of reputation with the dwarves. Now, funny thing, look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? Just coming right over that ridge, and there's the black pool, and there's the mountains that we're gonna go under. Like, you could put this on your wall. Like, this is just so beautiful. It's like calendars, like the calendars I used to have when I was a kid that had like this amazing artwork. So, anyway, so I am not using the stone of the tortoise to arrest my thing. Check this out. You can see the trees, how they all the way to the ground. Because there's a whole thing about, and it never occurred to me until I was probably watching the Tolkien Professor, talking about how this wasn't flooded. Like the Watcher in the Water, this was not where they lived when Moria started, right? This happened after. And so by the time the Fellowship is coming in here, this is all flooded and you've got the Watcher in the Water, but they weren't there originally, right? Like that was dry. So it's really fascinating to see remnants of that. That's what I'm talking about, like with how the developers doing a deep reading and picking up on that. Like I didn't pick up on that until somebody else pointed it out to me. Hey, Spalvey. How's it going? I love how his name is now Spalvey Stoutheart. Like they change it. It's fantastic. Okay, he says, I cannot believe I stand here at the foot of the great steps within Khazad-dûm. The sight takes my breath away. Spalvey's good eye is bright with wonder. Skorgrim, this is a dour hand, spoke of reclaiming the glory of the dwarves, but he also said it was the elves that took it from us. I see now that our glory was not truly taken away and that it was merely lost for a time. It remained here beneath the mountains for us to find once again. I cannot thank you and Bingo enough for crossing my path, or I would never have seen these halls. Let us find our lost friend. The dwarves here speak of a map maker named Kettle, who works out of a place called the Dolven View to the east. He will know the ins and outs of exploring Khazad-dûm. Always go to a map guy. Map people are cool. Milestone to Dolven View? Awesome. So, yes, we have already ridden through and gotten a few milestones. So, yeah, the skies also, right? And the water. Water, I was reading about this, I don't know, like a while ago, before I started playing Lotro, that water in video games, just digital water, is really hard to do. Like, that is not an easy nut to crack, to make water look good, look realistic, you know, all those things. And so I have just been taken back by the water in Lotro. So good. Oh, you're welcome. Luthgarian Lord says, thank you for a great show. See you in game. You are welcome. Yep, you know where I am. I'm in Treebeard, and I'm in Moria. So, yeah, so I'm at least going to keep my character. She's going to keep getting experience until I get at least to level 56, because I want to get that swift travel to the 21st hall. And then I'll see. We'll see. Okay, we found the map maker. He says, oh, you are interested in my maps? Oh, perfect, perfect. It's always a pleasure to meet with a fellow enthusiast. He has a cool map hat that you can get, I think, later on. Anyway, he says there's a great deal of craft involved with drawing accurate maps, and you'd be surprised how few folk truly appreciate the effort. So just as a quick side note, we kind of, because sometimes the maps in Lotro that you see don't match like where you're actually walking around, like in the Old Forest, for example. And so we always joke that like our in-game thing is that, you know, people made the maps, but that doesn't mean they're good at making the maps, the people in the game who made the maps, right? So, yeah. So he's, so we, you know, sometimes the elven maps, the maps are really off, and we're like, well, you know, those elves drew that map like a whole age ago, so things change. So anyway, all right, he says, just between you and me, I think the rest of the Iron Garrison would care more about my maps if I included the locations of precious veins and ore deposits on them, but these would be out of place on these maps. Perhaps I will make a second set of maps later on. But for now, these maps are purely for rooms and chambers and tunnels and caves. As a maker of maps, it is important to know your focus and to keep it narrow. I am focused on making maps, and therefore I am less capable in combat. Will you help me defeat enemies at the next location I need to map? While you fight, I will draw, and in that way we will be of great help to each other. Gazet Moor is to the east of here. All right, so we're gonna go defeat some foes in Gazatmur while he draws a map. You decide to keep your eyes peeled for Bingo while you help Ketil. Okay, so we're gonna go to Gazatmur, we're gonna defeat some foes, and he's gonna work on a map. So I mentioned earlier that we live in the Netherlands. So I'm from the US, and so English is my primary language. And now we live in the Netherlands and we're learning Dutch. And I mean, it's not as prevalent in the US, Dutch, as say German or Spanish, because I lived in Colorado. There's a lot of Spanish in Colorado. And I took French in high school, so I know a little bit of French. But I don't know a lot of Dutch like coming into the thing. However, I got a couple advantages going for me, and that is English, German, and Dutch have a tendency to kind of overlap a lot. So if there's a word in one of them, there's a very strong possibility there's a very, very close or exact word in one of the other two. So I'm, making some progress that way. So anyway, it's really funny because I'm trying to get better at my Dutch pronunciations because, I don't want to say, out. I want to say out, like the way it's, more in there. Now, don't start though on my h's because no, I just don't. I have a sore throat far too often in my life to be able to do the guttural throat thing very well. I apologize to my Dutch viewers for that. I am trying, but I do more of. So there's also some regional differences. So like in some areas you do more of a, and then in some areas it's more of a. So I do more of the and more of a. Sometimes kind of a breathy H sound, like you would say in English, to get my thing. Anyway, so trying to pronounce dwarven names of places and people while I'm learning Dutch is sometimes totally throws me off. So we get a lot of overlap, and sometimes, because vowel sounds are different. Vowel sounds in English are not the same as vowel sounds in Dutch. And I'm getting much better about that. It took me a little bit of time, but we're taking classes now. And, oops, I just fell off some stairs. No big. So through the classes, it's been great because I'm able to kind of like hook myself into a word. And it's like, oh, okay, that word is spelled with a UI. And it's pronounced with the ow sound. Okay, got it. So whenever I see that, that's how I pronounce that, right? Like I'm getting closer to being consistent, and it's nice. It's not like English, where like in English, you have the OUGH, and it could be pronounced all of it like 5 or 7 different ways. It's ridiculous. Thankfully I don't. Yeah. So far, the Dutch that we have been learning, which is going to be some of the more common words, are if it is spelled a way, it is pronounced a way, and that is pretty consistently the way. So that I am very grateful for. Other way. All right, I'm coming upstairs. I gotta go check in with Affidilio here. She wants me to go look at a pile of yuck. I gotta come look at this deep claw nest. All right, I have to search this. Buried within the nest, you discover rotting pages that mention Oh, that's for another quest that we're doing as part of the epic line. We've heard that there is a potential mithril weapon that existed, that was created. And so we've been sent in search of, it's kind of like a set of breadcrumbs, right? And this is the next set of breadcrumbs on that trail that it may actually exist. So then the question is, well, if it exists, how was it made? Where was it made? And, where is it now? So that was part of that quest. Now, how are we doing? Oh, Kettle. Where is Kettle? Where is that guy? He's still working on his map, apparently. Because it says... Oh, maybe we got to go find him outside. Because we're still got to keep defeating foes in the area until he's done with his map. You know what? We may have left him behind.
I completed this in the goblin area.
All right, hang on a second. I'm going to mount up and catch up to you. Because mounted with bad ankles is a lot faster than walking with bad ankles. Okay, cool. Now, I am very lucky because Affodil is way better at understanding how to get around Moria than I am. Even when she takes us to the wrong place, it's still much closer than where I would have taken us. So, you are all lucky to join me in being shown around Moria with Affodil's help. Oh my gosh. Every time we end up like in a kin and we're doing Moria, I'm like, so let's make sure we go when Affodil can show us around, because now I'm much better about finding my way around Moria. Like there's an area where there's some wood that I know how it's layered. Like it's like this place that's carved into the mountainside, and so there's different like floors, verdiepings, floors, and so you have to kind of get from one to the next, and it used to take me forever to figure out how to do that, but then I figured it out. So like I can do that one little bitty piece of Moria. Like that is my expertise, right? So and it's interesting because each time we come into Moria and do the stories and stuff, I get a little bit more knowledgeable, right, in terms of finding places and recognizing places. Oh, we're not to bother him. He's busy working. He's busy. Don't talk to the busy dwarf. That hat, though, I think I can get that hat later on from Bert Bartleby. It's a good hat. It's got like map pieces coming out of it or sticking on the sides of it. It's pretty cool. Oh, he's ready for us. All right. He says, "Thank you very much, my helpful friend. I am sorry that it took a while, but making a map takes time, and if you rush it, you ruin it. The next location I was hoping to finish mapping is a library to the northeast of here called Katub Zahar. Will you fight the enemies we find within while I work?" Well, golly, I mean, sure. Why wouldn't we? All right, hold up. Let me catch up to you. One thing I love about, all right, I'm good, thank you. Being on the legendary server right now is that there's so many people who are also like in the same area, because a lot of us were kind of like at the cap and had finished the storyline and we're ready to go into Moria. And now Moria's open. We're like, right, we all go in. And so it's cool because you see people like crisscrossing in front of each other and stuff. Oh my gosh, it was so funny though, because when you first try to go into Moria, there's this area, the Holland Gate, where you go through that space where we came in at first, and then there's that wide open area. And you need to do some things to help the dwarves prepare their expedition to actually come in. And so we were doing that, and there were so many people there that all those things that you have to like take out and stuff were just gone. Like there was none left. So people were defeating things very quickly, and there were not many things left to be defeated. So that was kind of funny. I think our map maker guy, where is he? I see him on the map. Cool. Yeah, I've got a deep claw hunter on me here. Not anymore. All right, so let's see. Is it up? Yeah, there it is. I do love the little dotted line. So if you can click on something on the mini map, it shows you like directionally where it is, like up, down. Oh, there's wood. I'm a wood person. I can gather wood. And I can gather ore. And of course, you know, vegetables and fruit on the ground and stuff. Okay, let me come over to you.
All right. Now
Does he have a little map? Oh, hold on, we gotta take a look at the map. Let me unclick on him so we can get a better look. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. It's the old map too. I wonder if I can't remember if they updated these. That is so good. So in the game, the maps look like this, right? So this is the Great Delving. And if I zoom out, like this is, you know, all of Moria. So we printed these out and put them on the wall at one point when I kept getting lost in Middle Earth. And so yeah, so this is that map, but it's got like little, you know, like you put your cup of coffee on there by mistake or tea or whatever. And there's Zirk Ziegel. And, oh, that's so cool. That's very nice. Nice use of in-game assets.
Now you can tell me what you seek.
All right, as Scenario would say. Okay, so Into the Long Dark. We're still working on that. He says, finished. Thank you for your help. Now that I have some time to think, why don't you tell me what it is you're seeking within these halls? You tell Kettle an abbreviated version of the adventure that resulted in your separation from Bingo. The dwarf thinks for a minute. It is not out of the question to believe that he might have fallen into an underground river and been swept into Khazad-dûm. Unlikely, perhaps, but it sounds as if this fellow might be rather unlikely himself. I will continue to study the maps I have available and let you know if I uncover any possible hiding places for this Hobbit of yours, my friend. It is the least I can do. Okay, so now we're supposed to go back to Spalvi at the Dolven View and let him know what we have learned. So we should have our milestones to the Dolven View. Should be yeah. I love it. I love all these people running through. Like, zoom, 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 zoom. It's neat too that we're not the only ones doing bingo, probably, because that is such a little side quest that not everybody does. So it's fun. It's fun. I like the bingo stuff. Oh yeah, so I put on my diggy clothes. Like I figured we're going into Moria, so I needed to have on my my work outfit. So I put on my my work clothes.
You have made a good start, my friend.
I try to get into the theme, on these streams. Okay, I don't know what I'm going to wear for housing. Like I don't have a housing hat that I can think of. I don't know. We'll have to come up with something. Anyway, so Spalvi says, we have made a good start of it, my friend. Kettle Mapmaker may come up with some idea of places we can search for bingo, and I will make good the wrong I caused when I was a dour hand. I am certain it is close. Will and Whisker, this is another character that has been following us around. He's a lynx, and he and Bingo made friends with each other. So Will and Whisker did not stay here in the Dolven View for long. He too is searching for bingo. I know we will find our missing hobbit, and I trust that it will be soon. Oh, Bert Bartleby has arrived at the Dolven View. All right, so we finished now. A week has passed, and the new quest is up. So we get a few weeks behind when festivals are on and stuff. So this is a fun time to catch up. All right, it says Willem takes the lead. Kettle Mapmaker told me he plans to begin mapping Durin's Way. He said he would meet you at the gardens of Tharak Bazan to the northeast. Go to him and keep your eyes peeled for bingo. All right. Can do. I don't think we've gotten that far in our daily questing yet. So that's kind of fun. Oh, you're talking to Bert? What's Bert got? So it's really cool. Bert has like this hat rack that you can get, and you pick up the hat rack like way back at the beginning. So back in the Shire over in Mickledelving. And then you can turn it in for a hat rack that has one hat on it, like the hat that's representative of that area in some fashion. And so then at the next stop, you can turn in that hat rack for a hat that has two hats on it. So you're like constantly trading up if you want to. And one of them is a hat rack that has like Theodore Grouse's hat on it with the big plumy flower, feather there. It's so fun. We could get the map of Bingo and Region. We could get Bread of the Third Age, which is a weapon. So I could be running around with a stick of bread and hitting things with that. That's fantastic. There is a Tome of the Red Beetle. That's a pet that I could get. I probably will. Oh, we got some shields here. I don't tend to do the shield thing. Apodil is definitely into the shields. Wow, that thing's big. This one, oh my gosh. There's a shield that she got one time that was like still bigger than this one. I swear it was like as big as a hobbit. Like crazy shield, huge shield, a baguette. I know, right? Like I'm kind of tempted to get the bread. So currently my character, she's running around carrying a pretzel and what? That's not right. It's showing her weapons. Okay, I know she's carrying a pretzel. Hang on a second. Unless I undid it. Oh wait, because I'm mounted. Let me get back down. Maybe you can't see my pretzel. Where's my pretzel? Oh, I think I forgot to put it back on. I haven't been carrying my pretzel. Hang on, let me show you. There it is. So I was carrying a pretzel and a frying pan. So now I'm like, yeah, maybe she got hungry and ate it. That's true, right? So now I'm thinking I might have to get the baguette and do that. But the pretzel is so dwarven, right? Like, I don't know. I'll have to think about this. Oh, wait, where'd your bug go? Affodil had the beetle out a second ago. I saw it. Yeah, let's take a look. So this is the cosmetic pet that you can get. So, and they're called cosmetic pets because they don't do anything for you like in battle. They don't buff you in any way. Like, it's just there to look cute. But it follows you around. So that's neat. So there's the red beetle. That's quite sizable. I thought it was smaller. That's a big beetle. So, and I say cosmetic pet as opposed to like that one carrying that banner there. That was an in combat pet. Like that's a banner holder, and so like captains have pets, lore masters have pets. Am I missing anybody else? And that's basically, so it's somebody you can call out and they follow you around and then they help you in some way. Like maybe they, attack things for you, or they give you some buffs, or they protect you in some way. So, so you can have the Bartle Beetle. She named it Bartle Beetle. That's fantastic because it came from Bert Bartleby. Bartle Beetle. That's too cute. I like that. I may have to steal that. Usually we name our a lot of our pets get Dutch names because we're having fun with that. So let me think. Do I have? Yeah, here's my Snowbank. Snoo. He's a snowbank. You see, I named my snowman after Snowbank. Oh, or what else do I got? Oh, I haven't named that one. Missing pretzel. That's an unexpected twist. I like it. That'd be funny. I could have like the pretzel out sometimes and the bread out sometimes, and see if anybody who we run by, on a regular basis is like, wait, wasn't that a pretzel just like 5 minutes ago? That might be kind of fun. Did I name? Oh, this one I named Bolm because tree. Bolm means tree, so it's just a Bolm. Bolm, Bolm, Bolm. Oh, I think we're going. Okay, Volgemai. Gotcha. I'm being told to follow. In Nederlands. Okay, so yes, we're gonna go talk to Kettle the map maker. So, I have a goal. Okay, so this Sunday, as I mentioned, we are gonna do a 3-hour stream. So 3 full hours of streaming this Sunday, same time. So starting at like 1 o'clock Eastern time. And I'm gonna just talk about Lotro housing. That's all I'm gonna do. Now I'm gonna do it over on my personal channel, which is the Little Redhead 42 on Twitch. But I'll host it over here on the Lotro stream. So you'll be able to watch it either place. Yeah, you'll be able to do it either way. And so one of my goals, though, long-term goals, is sometime, maybe within the next year, would be really cool, is that we just do maybe an hour, but a whole stream all in Dutch. A Lotro stream, but all in Dutch. Like, I'm not to the point where I could conversationally hold enough words in my head to do that yet, but I feel like I'm getting closer. And we had a 2-week break off of our Dutch lessons, and we are back to class next week, so I was starting to get working on homework because we're going through like a chapter a week, and it's not slow. I mean, I guess it could be faster, but I'm glad it's not. So I was going back into it, and there's definitely parts of it where I'm like, oh, there's still so much I don't remember, right? Like, just don't have it in my head, like the words for near and far, and there'll be times when I see a word and I'm like, I don't even know what this means, and I should, because it's been one of our vocabulary words, right? So I'm still doing that, but on the other side, though, I am heartened by the fact that there was some sentences, some listening. And you have to listen to the sentence, and then it's like, how many words do you hear? Or do you hear these sentences or these words? And there's times when I'm definitely understanding, not just how many words are there. Like, okay, I count 5 words or whatever, but also I know what they're saying. So that's good. So I definitely feel like there's progress. Like if somebody's asking about what time does the train arrive, like I might actually know what they're saying. So that's pretty cool. It is useful stuff that we're learning. Yeah, like we're learning about the trains and stuff, and then we're learning about clothing. We've learned about houses and rooms in houses and foods and, you know, hoe laat komt de train? Yeah, things like that. Yeah, so we're getting there. We're getting there. Oh, hey, there's a stable master here I have not met before.
The house of doom
Well,
will live
you.
forever.
Is there a milestone around here? Are we not picking up these quests yet? Okay, we're not here yet. That'll be a distraction from Bingo. Indeed. Okay, so, oh, nice. I just got started a new deed. The Cliffs of Zirkzigel. So that was find the door to the clouds. So we just need to find the Broken Cleft and Durin's Bane. That'll give me 4,000 virtue experience, which is a significant amount. So that's going to boost me up quite nicely. Hey, we have discovered Thrakbazan. Thrakbazan! It just sounds so much like a dwarven, war cry of some sort. So we always say it like that. All right. Here's the map maker. He says, "You will not believe what happened to me here while I was sitting at my map making tools. A large lynx came barreling up the slope and almost knocked me down. It was racing at quite a clip and seemed to be chasing a piece of paper caught in one of the light breezes that rustles the trees of Thrakbazan. Thrakbazan! The lynx raced off to the east. What do you think it means? Is this some frightening beast from the depths that has emerged from its vile den to threaten the Iron Garrison? Whoops, hang on, I gotta continue the quest before I actually follow you. Oh no, I moved away.
A large lynx
Okay.
barreled up the slope and almost knocked me down.
Almost knocked me down. Yes, let's go find this large lynx, this bane of it. So, oh, right, cool. And I have a Twitter. I will try to remember to post over the next few days to remind people that I'll be doing that 3-hour stream over on my Twitter, which I use Beyond Shire. I also have a website, Life Beyond the Shire. It's a little out of date, I realized, so I apologize for that. Hey, Stable Master, I haven't seen you before.
Time has come to drive forth the orcs from our
21st
kingdom.
Hall, you say? We are not far from getting to the 21st Hall in our travels, I know. But first, we have a lynx to find. Lynx. Oh, ho, ho. There's a Willem Whisker. Hey, buddy. It says Willem is drenched, his fur matted against his skin as he swims in the chill waters of the pool. As you take a closer look, you see that he holds a wet piece of parchment in his powerful jaws and is trying to keep it above the water of the pool. You gently retrieve the wet parchment from him, and he stares at you intently. Okay. He is staring intently. The page is drenched, but is recognizably a page from Bingo's manuscript. Bingo is, of course, writing just as Bilbo was.
Is this what I think it is?
He says, "Is this what I think it is?"
Bingo's manuscript.
It certainly looks like it. Bingo told me about the book he was writing of his journey, and here we hold a piece of it. Sweet vindication. If the manuscript is here in Khazad-dûm, then surely our Hobbit must be it as well. I think Willem Whisker must have caught Bingo's scent, and if we follow him faithfully, we will find our last Hobbit. So, he is going to zoom off, and there he goes. He's caught a scent, and he runs to the east. Zoom. Right by that pile of ilex wood. Oh my gosh, so funny yesterday when we were in here, because yesterday was the first day that Moria was open on Treebeard. And like you would see something on your map, on your mini radar, you're like, yeah, there's one of those things I can go pick up. And you'd get there and there's like 4 people already there. You're like, oh, okay, I will not try and pick up that wood. Somebody beat me to it. So I got kind of excited when I started actually seeing stuff I could get, because it means people have vacated the area a little bit. We've spread out through Moria a little bit more, which is neat. Ooh, new deed, Eastern Durin's Way. So many deeds. So many Moria deeds. We have discovered Jazagund. Hey, there's a stable master. I should say hi. Hello, stable master, in your purple.
May Durin
Very
return
fetching.
soon to his halls.
Just like my dress, I got some purple in my dress. But I was trying to go more for blues. So, okay, Willem has followed the scent to a number of barrels full of fish. I thought Willem might have caught Bingo's scent, but he wasn't following our Hobbit, he was following his stomach. Wait, I think he's about to run off again. This time he must find Bingo for sure. So I think there's kind of supposed to be a reference to when the dwarves and Bilbo got into barrels and to get out of, what was it, Mirkwood? So I like the little nods towards things like that. Okay, here we go. Up the slope. And that's the deed bestowed, Eastern Durin's Way. So we have a bunch of places to find there. That'll give us 5 Lotro points, 30 marks, 2,000 virtue, and reputation with the Iron Garrison Miners, which we'll probably might even max out before we even get there. It's so funny. Out of all the places where you're like gaining reputation, something went weird in Moria and you overdo it. Like you somehow end up with so much reputation with these people. It's pretty wild. Maybe they were expecting that because people were only going to do a couple of quests in Moria and then be done. Yeah, like we still have these. There's like 3 different kinds of consumable rep items that you pick up as you go around. One that's worth like 700, one that's worth like 50, and one that's worth 30. Or so, maybe I'm mixing them up. But anyway, Will and Whisker is curled up by the milestone taking a nap. Hint, hint, milestone.
These halls will be great once more.
You know, just saying. There's Will and Whisker taking a nap. Here's a milestone. We're going to go backwards. We're going to take that one. Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Another Moria milestone.
These dwarfs.
Balvi says, well, it seems as if Will and Whisker knows what he wants, but to bring us no closer to accomplishing our objective. The dwarves here come under frequent attacks by the Marivel that live in the pits to the east. They gather by the pools. Oh, you know, here's something I would love. I would love it if our carryalls, every kind of carryall, if we had some way of distinguishing them. Back to the question like an hour ago of what would I like to see in the show in the game. Like if I could color this one green, color this one blue, just so I could distinguish them, that would be amazing. Okay, sorry. Yes, so the Marivel gather by the pools. They prevent any dwarves from coming close. Kilometer stone. Sorry, I'll come back in a second to that. That was really bad, and I love it. Okay, so we have to travel down to the pit, defeat Marivel that we see, and make our way to the pool located, and perhaps the knowledge that we are helping the dwarves will they'll provide us some assistance. So the joke is, because it says milestone, and we don't use miles here, we use kilometers. So yes, here in Europe we call it a kilometer stone instead of a milestone. That is fantastic. You're my kind of people. Okay, so we are going to go down to the pool and defeat Marivel along the way. So I think we should finish up this bingo quest, and then I think we should call it a day. If that works for you. Not a 1.6 kilometer stone. All right, so it says defeat Marivel on your way to the pool of Kultorg in the Fanged Pit. So we use our 30 centimeters to walk. So okay, instead of your feet, you don't use your feet. Yes. Well, that's because your feet here. The feet are bicycles. So see, it makes sense. Oh, I was going to show on the map where we are. So we're in Durin's Way. We're over here in this area called the Fanged Pit, and that we're up in this top corner up here. So one thing, if you are struggling to figure out Moria, one thing that kind of helped me at some point is Moria is 3D, right? Like it's and oh my gosh, and if you look around, it's like whoo, sweeping stuff. But so the water, let me move this out of the way. So down here, the waterworks, the flaming deeps, the foundation of stone, redhorn loads, those are down like kind of the bottom-ish. And then you've got some places that are kind of above that, like Nud Malek, where you've got the Broken Bridge, and Zalembalek, and the Great Delving. So you've got places that are kind of like a little bit higher up. And then you've got like Durin's Way, which has some elevation to it. And then, and in fact, when I think it was back here, the Thrak Bazan, that area, right? Isn't that? Or maybe it's further over one. Zurich Ziegel. So there's the stable master. So that takes you outside. So you kind of have to think that you are inside, but you're not necessarily, it's not a flat space. Like Durin's Way isn't like north of Zlembalek, which is then north of the Redhead Lone. It's more, it's less of a north-south sort of thing and more of a above and below kind of thing, you know, above and under kind of Beneden, boven and Beneden. So yeah, so you kind of have to think like layers, and that kind of helped me to start figuring out how to find things in Moria a little bit better. There's a shortcut to go way south on the Chamber of the Crossroads. There are definitely, yeah, Moria is like an onion. There are definitely shortcuts in various places, like in the 21st Hall, and then like this is crazy because like, yeah, you've got this big windy wiggly thing that takes you from the Chamber of the Crossroads to get down to the 21st Hall, and like even though you see like all these things where you're like, oh, I could just walk through here, you can't necessarily. So this is that whole kind of the map is a representation, but it is not a direction representation, right? It's like it's an evocative representation. Not a direct one-to-one how you get somewhere. Oh, you know what? I don't need that bone falling anymore. So maybe I'll pull out. I like my little squirrel though, my little chipmunk. Oh, I can't do all of it. He's the ghost of old Took. Oh, you were talking about the pit. That there's a shortcut to get to the Chamber of the Crossroads from the pit. Oh. Oh, yeah. If you're in Chamber of the Crossroads, which is, yeah, it should be up above, right? Is it? This is in the Great Delving? Up. Oh, there, that's Stable Master. So if you're at the Chamber of the Crossroads, yes, that is definitely above the waterworks. And yes, there is fast travel, not by Stable Master, from one to the next. Yes, you might know it well. It's a well. See, you got it. It's a well. All right, hey, look, we found Bingo Boffin. It says he's a confused hobbit. He has had many different titles. He's had excited adventurer, and he's had a lot of attempted swimmer or something like that. So now he's a confused hobbit. Oh well.
Hello there.
He says, hello there, is this your cat? He does seem quite friendly, but I have never seen such a creature up close before. You ask Bingo if he's feeling all right, and the hobbit responds with a puzzled smile. It is nice of you to ask, but I must admit that I'm a bit worried. I do not know exactly how I came to be sitting by the side of this lake. Are we underground? This is not like anywhere in the Shire I have ever seen. This must be out by Scarry or Brockenborings. You keep calling me Bingo. Is that me? How odd. I can't quite get a handle on my name. Bingo Boffin, you say. It does not feel terribly familiar, because he ended up with a different name, Frodo. It says, but if you are a friend, I will take you at your word and thank you for filling me in. Wah, wah, wah. You have found Bingo, but it seems he has lost something. His memory. Are we taking the Stable Master, or the thing back up to the milestone? Oh, you know, my milestones are in a weird order here. I may have to fix that. They should be in order. I'll take a look at that later. Okay, so we're just gonna zip ourselves right back up here. Yes, there are definitely some fun hidden deeds in Moria that involve falling. Okay, so Spalvey says, you found Bingo. What is it? Why do you wear that expression? You tell Spalvey that something must have happened to Bingo after he became separated from you. For now, he seems to have lost his memory. Really? That can happen? I would not mind if he simply forgot the part where I betrayed him to the Dour Hands and locked him up in a cage, but I suppose forgetting the rest is not acceptable, is it? Ugh, a pity. All right, so next week we have Bingo's Scattered Thoughts. So we will pick that up later. I think it's longer than 5 minutes. Yeah. So we don't yet have the schedule for the festivals for this year, but here, let me go to my character real quick. On my biography, I did here on Treebeard, I haven't done this on other servers, but I did here on Treebeard. I've got at the beginning of my description of my biography when the different festivals are happening, and any other events like Hobnanigans, when those things are happening here on the server. So, for example, the Yuletide Festival just finished. I should update that. But then, like Moria arrived, and then the Spring Festival is in March, Anniversary event is in April, Midsummer in June, and so on. So we don't have another festival until March. So we should have Hobnanigans hopefully at the beginning of February, because last year, for the last half of the year, they gave us Hobnanigans the first weekend of every even-numbered month, I noticed. So my hope is that they'll do something like that again soon. And I know Cord posted on the forums that he's already started working on the schedule, the event schedule for this year, getting that nailed down, and then he'll be publicizing that on the forum. So once that comes out, I will add that to my bio and update that, so that way we have that information. So for now, what I'll probably do on stream is continue to follow Bingo Boffin and any other, side distractions that we get to. We can definitely do some Moria stuff if that's what people would like to see. I know it's a real, people have a love-hate relationship with Moria because it's very easy to get lost, and it can be very frustrating to figure out how to get from A to B, because there's times when I have literally been standing on somewhere in Moria and I'm like, I just want to be there. It's right there. I can see it, but I can't get from here to there without a whole lot of this and that and this and that. And so I get myself totally turned around in Moria. So with Affidil's help, we could absolutely show people how to get from one place to another if that's something that would be of use. But the reason I say the love part of Moria, though, is because it's amazing. It's stunning. And we're maybe not in a place that necessarily shows that off, but just the architecture and the carvings in the walls, and I mean it's massive. The scale of it is incredible. And it's a beautiful thing to see. Like what Spalvey said when we first walked in, there's no joke. It is impressive. It is extremely impressive. So I am really grateful that this time I'm not stressing out about being in Moria. I'm really just enjoying the ride, as it were, and just seeing the places in Moria again. Every time I go through a place in Lotro, it seems like I get a better handle on it if I've struggled with it in the past. So I'm looking forward to Mirkwood. I'm looking forward to a lot of those areas where I'm like, wait, now what is this? Now how does this connect? And figuring more of that out. Oh, I love their titles. Check that out. We've got Bingo is the amnesiac hobbit. Willem is the napping lynx. And Spalvey is just Spalvey. He's Spalvey Stoutheart, though, at least. He's got a whole name. But that's too cute. That's fantastic. I like the little details. And now we have a napping hobbit as well. We have an amnesiac hobbit, we have a napping hobbit, and a napping lynx. Everybody's happy. All right, any last minute questions here in the stream for me? Go ahead and pop that in if you have any last minute questions. And otherwise, we're going to wrap up here pretty soon. So remember, I'm here every Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Before also streams, Affidil, also streams on Tuesdays and does a lot of explanation of plugins and how to create a plugin. He basically spends a lot of time working on a plugin on stream, so you can kind of see the behind the scenes on that. So it's a bit more of a technical stream, but there's definitely times when I'll be watching, I'll be like, wait, explain this to me, and then he is able to explain it to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's really fantastic, and now I get it. So yeah, it's really interesting. There's sometimes when I just kind of coast and I'm working on something else and just half listening, but then there's times when I'm like, wait a minute, explain that, and he's able to explain various things about plugins and things, and I find that so cool. And of course, we have so many really awesome streamers here in general. I was just going to bring up the deed tracker while we're chatting here for a quick second, because I mentioned that there's so many deeds in Moria, and so we are. Oh, and Rovanian even. Let's try that. So the deed tracker, this is a plugin. This is a plugin that B4 created, and it mirrors the in-game deed log. So you'll see the tabs are in the same places and things like that. And then you've got the tabs across the bottom for, each of the area tabs. Instead of being like that, they are drop down or openable things here. So Moria. So I can see here all the deeds that are accomplishable in Moria. And because this is my completionist character, this is something I want to know. And it also will give you a little, if you do a hover over, it tells you what it says when you complete that deed. So if you want the lore and stuff that they've put in there, that's kind of cool. And then there's also a lot of details like how many Lotro points you can earn from completing that deed, how many virtue experience, how much virtue experience you can complete. The tab shows you for that whole thing. So there's like 345 Lotro points I can gain here in Moria still, plus another 82,000 of virtue experience. That's a lot. And then the full totals are at the top if you were curious about that too. So yeah, this is great because it shows me also hidden deeds or deeds that I haven't started yet. So that's why I really like the deed tracker sometimes over the deed log, because like it's not going to show me Gobslagana Slayer over here because I haven't slain a single one. You know, or the Pits of Moria because I haven't done that, or because that's a hidden deed. So like, yeah, hidden deeds and deeds you haven't started don't show up in the in-game deed log. So that's why I really like the deed tracker to help me out with stuff like that. So that's really cool. So anyway, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of cool people who stream here. S-H-E-D-L-E. So you've got, I just went ahead and posted the full roster, or the link to the roster there. So like, I'm here on Thursdays. On Friday, tomorrow, at noon Eastern, you'll have Cordovan, and he is the community manager. So that's a great opportunity to ask questions that you want to ask of an SSG employee. Because all the rest of us, we stream for fun. Like we're just having a good time. And like, you know, I'm like, if I'm gonna have a good time doing these things, I might as well share the knowledge that I have with you, right? Like, you know, because there's always, like, there's so much, there's so much in the game. There's no way any one person knows everything about Lotro. So if you have somebody and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry to ask you this, but I'm sorry I don't know this, or whatever. It's like, you don't need to be sorry at all. There is no way a single person could know everything. So asking questions, that's how we're helping each other out. So that's why I figure that's what I do with my stream, right? Like, I'm here, I'm playing the game. I might as well spend 2 hours a week if I can helping other people and with the knowledge that I've picked up, you know. And then there'll be people in the chat who will ask a question, and I'm sure there's somebody else who's watching who's like, oh my gosh, I did not know that answer either, or I've been trying to figure that out. So hot feet. Yeah, keep dancing, you're gonna burn your feet up there. Yeah, so I'm happy to spread the knowledge. And but if you want to get like somebody who's officially from SSG to answer a question, Fridays at noon Eastern time are the place to do it, because that's when Cordovan is on here. Okay, or Cordovan. Get my emphasis in the right syllable. Okay, so Cord's on at noon, and then you've got Corey, the Tolkien professor, who's on at 1 right after Cord, and he is really awesome. Like he knows Lord of the Rings inside and out, and Tolkien's works in general, and it's really fun to hear him explaining things from that perspective. I'm a book nerd anyway, like most of us probably are. So I really appreciate his insights and knowledge, and that we get access to that. Like, how cool is that, for free? Like every week for free, he'll just talk to us about Lord of the Rings. Like, okay, and how it relates to Lord of the Lotro. So that's so cool. And then after that, after him is Druid's Fire on Fridays, and she is a wealth of knowledge about Lotro. She's been playing, I think, from the beginning, and she's been around video game industry for a while, so she often knows a lot of stuff like that. Okay, so I think I should probably go ahead and finish up here. So I didn't see any questions come up. Senator Melon, though, says shift double click on LIs to open the config menu. Hang on. Shift double click. Oh, that's convenient. Yeah, I didn't know that either. Because I was just taking them. So what I know, here's what I learned yesterday, is you take it and you drag it to the little flame. Yeah, take your legendary to the flame. That sounds like a great idea. But anyway, and that is how I was bringing up the menu. So can I have both of them up at the same time? I think that's a no. Okay. Oh well. I brought up the dressing room instead. Whoops. Fascinating. But anyway, so this is what the new legendary item panel looks like, if anybody has been curious. This is with a new legendary that I have not reforged, except for the initial one where they're taking you through, like, here's your weapon. Excellent. Stand over here. Excellent. Reforge your weapon. Excellent. Go talk to somebody else. I was going to say go talk to Elrond, but it wasn't Elrond this time. Anyway, so there were open slots, open holes, kind of like when you have that kind of gear, like this guy. Let me tooltip that off, which is H, by the way, if you're hovering over something. If you press H while you're hovering over something, you get this tooltip that you can drag around. So notice how they have these empty slots here. So that's what my legendary looked like when I first got it. So these spots here that have little squares, these were empty. And so I have slotted 4 things because there were 4 slots. Now these slots have different categories. So this is like a heraldry slot, and only heraldry stuff can go in it. And I forget what the category of these is, but these are another type of slot. And so these 2 were open, and they could take a particular kind of these bobbers, which are called, it's Word of Mastery. So these are 2 Word of Mastery slots. And then this was a Word of Craft slot. So if you're just getting into the legendary system, this is what you have to look forward to on that. Okay, well, all right, we are going to leave that for a future stream. So yeah, I think we're going to be doing definitely some bingo and some other stuff like that. So if you have particular things you want to see also, feel free to just pop a note on Twitter or message me in game, whatever, anything's fine. I'm not particularly fussed about how you communicate with me. All right. Well, I think then we will go ahead and call this a day. Oh, my closed captionings keep getting behind. I don't know why. So weird. Anyway, okay. Well, thank you all for coming along with me on this journey. This was a fun little romp through parts of Moria, and I'm glad that we finally reunited with Bingo. I've been looking forward to getting back to Bingo. It seems like it's been a while since we haven't seen him in a while, and I've missed him. So I'm glad we found him back again. Awesome. Thanks, Imbecile, for coming along. And, you know, you're always welcome to come, and I will just run around the landscape with you, and show you what, if you want. All right. Thanks, everybody. And go off, have great days. And whatever you do and wherever you go, I do encourage you to stay connected to the Hobbit side of your heart. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night now. Bye-bye.